all of us share a common bond here, Kano.
Yeah, true. Very true. Very true. I think obviously the hot topic is COVID, and we all kind of needed a moment to just let a bit of the frustration out, you know.
Take the mask off.
Loosen the valve, take the mask off. But yeah, I think the one thing we all share in common is kids TV. And it's funny, you know, I've had a love-hate relationship with kids TV, because I think for a long time I had an ego around just being the kids TV guy, and I could never really crack into the big leagues or into the adult TV world. But as I get a bit older and I have a little bit more distance from the heyday of ABC3, the more I realize how good it was and how good I had it. Like, kids TV is an absolute riot. It is so much fun. There's travel, there's celebrities, there's skits and comedy, the people that you work with. Scott, you mentioned it, like the talent, not just on screen, but off screen as well. The industry in its wholesome right. The industry as a whole in kids TV is electric. I don't know what you guys think, but yeah, for me, I loved my 10 years of kids TV. I'd go again in a heartbeat. What about you, Shura?
It's exactly what I went through, and I think we might have even spoken about this, because I was very conscious. I did 6 years of kids TV, and I didn't want to be just the kids show guy, so I wanted to move more into an adult space, which I was lucky enough to do. You know, went on to do the Mole and some other things, you know, at the bigger networks, not bigger networks, in more primetime areas. But like you, mate, looking back now, I think the kids TV years are probably the best years of my life. Realistically, yeah, the Mole was great to shoot because it was a big production. It was, you know, reality TV at its core. But in terms of kids TV, name me another place where you can wholeheartedly be yourself, a silly version of yourself. You learn all of the skills of television without kind of the pressure, because you're kind of off Broadway, but they still put the eyes on you. You just have a whole heap of fun. It was a fun day every day that I went onto set, whether it was Pyramid or Kids WB or whatever. It was just the best.
Yeah.
Kids TV, I think, and that's what drew me to it initially. So for some context for those that don't know, I was 12 when ABC3 started. So literally, I was there. I saw Kevin Rudd press the button and launch the channel, and I was like, this is the best. I freaking loved Kane, freaking loved Amberly. Tweety, always going to be, you know, my one.
Lord Tweety.
But like, legit, it was very like, and I was like, they have the most fun. Like, I could see it, you know, you can see how much fun kids TV presenters have with their job. And I was very like, and they get to be themselves, and I just loved it. And I was like, I want to do that. And so I did.
So how did that happen, Grace? How did that happen for you?
To this day, it doesn't make any sense. So, like, literally, I made the decision in, like, year 11 where I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to try and be a kids TV presenter. I don't know how that works, but I'm going to try to do it. And one day it's just going to happen. And then there was, like, a casting call for ABC3, a new host. And I was like, cool. And so I, like, sent in my video, got an audition, and then just, like, got the job, which was, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, it just happened. Like, Anyway, I was 18, living my dream life, and to this day, I'm still just like, dude, how did that even happen? The fact that I'm in this call, like in this conversation, makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, it does make perfect sense.
On Shura's point, though, particularly for me, not to sound like weird Uncle Kane, but I remember when you got your job, Grace, and watching that rapid growth and you having exposure to so much stuff. By the time that I had left, I kind of watched your growth as a spectator, and you went from strength to strength. Like, you were traveling in Europe on one of the biggest gigs that Australia can offer.
I mean, at the end of the day, though, it all comes back down to the fact that you guys laid a foundation for me. Because, like, I was always able to look back and be like, all right, if that's where I want to be in however many years' time, this is how I need to carry myself now, and this is the work ethic I need to have now. And so for me, it was easy because I had the role models, and I had that foundation already.
You wanted to be like weird Uncle Kane.
I wanted to be like Uncle Kane.
I dug myself that hole. I made the bed. I will lie in it.
Back to the article, Kane. It's a very interesting topic at the moment because, I don't know, like you guys, I'd never been on a set with a proper professional camera until we auditioned for ABC3. So, like a lot of us, we were learning on the job, and we learnt very fast. We learnt with freelancers that are working on some of the biggest shows in Australia, and they were part of their shifts was working on our shows, and we'd listen and learn. You know, we have some amazing directors, camera guys. So it is really important to groom and to crop the next group of talent. But I feel like I'm kind of with this article in terms of that money and investment right there to then make it for kids TV on these free-to-air channels right now is the wrong place. But I still think these networks should be investing that money, but putting it to where the kids are watching it. So the YouTubes, putting it on Netflix, putting it on the streaming services, and almost like investing in these kids early as like almost like the Mickey Mouse Club days where it's like, okay, we're going to pump some money into this show. This show, if it builds an audience, will get revenue from brands X, Y, and Z. And then in 5 to 10 years' time, we've still got some sort of leverage over your deal. But I think I'm just trying to think how they can groom the next group of kids coming through because they're all YouTubers at the moment. And don't get me wrong, I interview so many YouTubers right now as part of E here in America.
I think it's weird that you use the language groom kids, but yeah, maybe it's a New York thing.
He also said XY. He also said XYZ, which I noticed like from New York. I don't know. You've changed, mate.
I've always said Z. That's a Brisbane thing. We're not saying Z.
Mate.
Who says Z? XYZ doesn't even fit in the song.